I realised I had mental health needs when I was in prison. I was put into segregation after I had a fight with somebody, and I was isolated from everybody. I was in there for like 2 months, but it wasn't actually the isolation that took me. It was the fact that I thought people were conspiring against me. I felt like people were trying to get me, trying to do things to me, but like at the time I didn't want to accept it, that it was mental health needs that I was facing. It was actually the fact that I couldn't sleep. Like I was sleepless, I was drained, I was exhausted, and I couldn't actually rest at all. I was restless. In prison, it's very difficult to run away from your problems because you've got a lot of time to think, and when your thoughts are racing and you've got all types of stress, unnecessary stress that you're going through, and you can't make sense of it, it makes it even worse because then you have people noticing that you're distant and people noticing that you're that, and then you yourself don't want people to be around you because people want to help you, but you don't actually notice it. You just want to be by yourself, and like that's my illness stemmed from stress, like severe stress. I was trying to play the doctor of my own illness at the time because I was still ill, but I was trying to fathom the whole experience by myself. I thought through understanding I could get well by myself, which is true, but it doesn't work like that because it's actually an illness that you need treatment for. Yeah. It started off in prison. Like I started hearing voices of people saying, "Oh, we can see you this, we can see you that." Because I was in my own cell, there was nobody for me to say, like, "Did you hear that?" Hearing voices is not, I didn't pick it up straight away. I just thought people were just talking from the outside. It's not that you're hearing a voice that's saying nonsense. It's a voice that's talking to you. It wasn't like a voice from God or anything. It sounded like voices from other people talking outside. So I wasn't able to differentiate what was real or not. So when I heard these things, I was thinking, oh no, people are talking about me. Why are they talking about me? I noticed a lot of people are very supportive in a way because they understand maybe they have somebody in their lives that they know. The people that I've come across are very genuinely open to people that are mentally impaired or whatever.
When I was younger, I used to say it was my invisible friends. I used to have invisible friends. Sometimes when I was younger though, I knew it wasn't right because I'd look up and I'd see a face or I'd see a person standing there, and then I'll look again and they're not there. Other times when I'm walking by the canal or I'm over the marshes, then sometimes at certain places I will see pictures. It could be like a random person, and every time I go there I will remember them, but they're nothing to do with me. I've never seen these people before. Other times when I was growing up, I used to see loads of faces all the time, and to me it'd be like, oh, these people have died, but why would I see these faces? Why would I recognise? I didn't see them in the paper. That's why I say environment's really big. When I go anywhere, I pick up on everything that's happening around. I can sense a lot of things, but I won't understand. That's when I get confused. It was only when I came to the Hackney Service Centre through the social services, and I met with a psychologist who we were talked to, then said that she felt that I had complex needs. I said, that's quite dangerous. You're not a stable person. You hop from reality to fantasy quite easily. You don't know whether you're in the past, whether you're in the present, whether you're in the future. You don't know your age. You don't know. You can't tell anything at the moment. You could be anywhere, which is not safe.
At about Easter time, there were changes in my behavior, which I myself wasn't really paying heed to, but my relatives were able to see the changes in me. But when the summer came, I was awake all night and I was up swearing and ranting and raving and breaking things. So at that point, they were forced to take me to like a private doctor who in turn gave me some Lagactil or something to bring me down, as it were. But it was too late. I had to be taken into hospital and sectioned because I was a danger to myself and to other people. So that's how it was. I could go for nights without sleeping, and I'm a person, I tended to keep issues on my mind, even from my childhood. I never speak about these things, but they were there and I would be ranting and raving. So it was a culmination of things. So even as a child, say my father might have scolded me for something. On this particular night, I was literally calling him and swearing at him because he had done whatever back in the day. So it was a host of things, a number of things.
Well, I still haven't got your size in here.
Well, don't worry. I'll find something else to buy.
The skinny sizes. Teeny tinies. Size small.
Oh dear.
It's a US small and a UK 10.
Well, we wouldn't even go there, as they say.
Okay.
It's vivid in my memory. It was the morning after the night of this ranting and raving and swearing at 2 in the morning and everything else. So by the morning, along came the ambulance and what have you, and had to take me off to the hospital then. On one occasion, I was actually sitting in a course where we were doing pottery. And the pottery teacher, he was a very lovely gentleman, and he was literally crying because he could have seen that it was the way I was speaking. I was all high, thinking that I was being so whatever. But he could have seen that there was something about my behavior, and there were tears in his eyes. So what I'm saying is the person who was looking on at me could see the difference. I mean, so there were things that another person around could see, but I couldn't see. I was on a high, feeling that I could move everything. So that's what it was.
The fear of madness, everybody was saying, is a terrible fear. The fear of not being in reality frightens me. One of the delusions I had when I was ill was, my mother was German, and I always took on board all the Nazis and all that terrible stuff. And when I was very ill, I thought I was going to be transported back to a concentration camp, which you can imagine just the thought is horrendous. So I was very, very frightened. I have been sectioned 3 times in my life. The first time I was took from one hospital to another across London in an ambulance. When I got out the ambulance, there was a torchlight and there was no lighting in the hospital, and I was terrified, like in the dark. They didn't tell me where I was going or what I was doing. They put me in a room with a mattress on the floor and no toilet facilities. Also, they forcibly injected me. They never tell you what they're going to do or why you're going to do it, and I think that would help. So you're in the dark and you're worried and scared, and you're disorientated anyway because you're unwell. So you're not really in reality. So the whole thing just goes pear-shaped. So I do hear voices. I've heard them since the age of 27, which is a long time ago now. When I first heard them, I was terrified. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was coming out of the walls, coming out of my head, coming out of the radio. I always find them very distressing. I'm not frightened by them, and they're there most of the time. I'm worse in the afternoons, but I've been able to deal with that. Also, my concentration gets very poor, which is a problem really if you've got to do stuff. My posture's not very good, and that's probably because I'm absorbed by voices. It's usually all negative and doom and gloom. I can't get over how distressing now. It's like listening to a radio you can't turn off. It's a constant bombardment in your mind, inside and outside your head. I get disheartened by it because in every other aspect I'm really fully recovered. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It can be very frightening for some people as well, though I'm not frightened by it. But nearly always it's negative, and that's what gets me down really. I could cope with voices quite easily if they weren't so distressing in nature, but they stem from my childhood and I'll probably never be free of them. My doctor says it's something I've got to live with. I think that's a hard diagnosis, really. I'd like to be free of them, but you need professional help first, and then you can integrate into society, and you can do all sorts of things, and it's not the end. That's what people must realise. It's the beginning. It's on a journey most people don't go on. It's nowhere near the end, it's just the beginning. The poetry group I adore, because I like to write poetry. I was sent there out of the longing in my heart, so mad they put the dog down, this frothing mouth of madness. I was in an old institution and never felt better. Home from home, away with the fools and the fairies, until I awoke from my life and could not see clearly why or the answer.
When I got sectioned, it went so far, me taking my top off and walking on the road with no shoes. That's how extreme I went to. And then I got sectioned, and then I thought it was the end. I thought, okay, this is it. Like I started thinking stuff like I was in a movie, like this is not real, this is what is going on, this can't be happening to me. But people that are going through similar situations, people that are going through worse situations, and people that are going through more extreme situations. So like for me, when I got sectioned, that's when I noticed that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because then there was people from everywhere supporting me 24 hours, because I was getting fed as well, because I wasn't eating. Like, and if you don't eat, sometimes like it takes a while for you to know that you're starving yourself when you're mentally ill, because you're going through so much thinking.
I used to self-harm. I still think about it today. I still kind of miss it, self-harming, because it was kind of relaxing. I used to just cut my arms, or I tried once to cut my leg, but I didn't like that because I don't want scars. So sometimes I'll just pick up a sharp instrument and I'll just press it against my skin, see how far it takes it. It was a release. It was something I could control. No one asked me to do. Something I did. It was like, it hurt so much that I didn't think about anything else. I was just like, just okay, I've done it now. And instead of thinking about my problems, I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh my gosh, I've got to take care of this. You know, I don't want it to scar. I need to get it thing to show away. I don't want people to see. I didn't want no one to know. So once I'd done it, and I kind of felt kind of okay, when my family came into the house and discovered it, then I kind of ran off. I ran all the way to Enfield, and I ended up staying on my nan's grave. Actually located my nan's grave from memory, which was good for me. Unfortunately, I didn't have no shoes on. No wonder when I asked people directions, they didn't really want to talk to me at all. Kind of thought, who's this crazy person running up the street trying to get to the graveyard? Why? You know, I didn't think whether or not they saw my arm. Just kind of ran. By the time I came back, I was like, I felt bad, because obviously they didn't know where I was. They had to go and collect my kids from school. They didn't know what happened. They were so worried. They were just more grateful that I was at home. But then they kind of realised then, okay, this is not that was right. So then they started putting in a lot of support and supporting me for quite some time, until they thought I was up and running. But that's the problem. When it looks like you're up and running, that's when you actually need more support. That's when I needed it more.
This one started when my mother died when I was 10 years old, and I always have that feeling of disappointment. It was difficult for people around to really know how to react, but there was a lot of love and understanding, and that I would emphasize is necessary to recover, to have someone to support, to listen, to be there when there are tears, to be there when I'm unable to even walk the street on my own. And I am a different person to what I was back then, because I wasn't able to even come out in the street, because I was always imagining or conscious that someone would be saying, oh, here she is mad. But now, well, I can talk quite freely about having a mental illness, you know. So if I can help somebody as far as possible without being detrimental to my own health, I am sure I could give something back with my life experiences and the person who I am.
I was thinking that like I could cure myself because I'm a better person, but I'm not a better person. I'm just anybody that's going through a hard time. So, yeah, I just keep positive. I just like in general, I think the most significant thing is to keep yourself socialized with somebody, like so that you know what when things are going wrong, or somebody can point out to you, David, why are you not talking no more? What's going on? It's not you that will know that you're ill yourself. You need people around you to know that something's going off with David. We need somebody to help him. I'm fortunate enough to have a good group of people that I see from week to week, and like I've got a friend that I speak to as well.
I do have times when I will kind of blank out or, fade out or whatever. But because I'm talking more, it's less of a problem. It's less of an issue. If I told someone that I was hallucinating or something had happened, what would they do? Would they want to put me away? When I was younger, they would say, you get locked up if you told someone that. But now, if we could say now, you know what, this is the things that happened to me, but not have the fact that children are going to be taken away, or you're going to be put into a hospital, or you're going to be sedated or something. I think more people will be open because I think everyone suffers from a mental health issue at some point. It's just how we deal with it.
No matter what you do, there's going to be a certain point where you feel like everything you do and all your efforts is going down the drain. So you're going to be struggling, and it's going to even be painful for you to get out of bed one day, and you're just going to feel like, forget everything, forget this, forget that, forget this. But like that struggle is not going to last. Like there's going to be a point where you're going to start getting better, and then you're going to see it. So like just like if you're struggling, like allow yourself to struggle. Like just don't blame yourself. So make sure you keep those that are helping you close to you, because they will be there for you even when you're better. They'll still maintain that same effort that they're giving to you to make sure you're better, because they actually care for you, and people do care for you.
Hello, can I help?
There's still a lot of work to be done as regards the stigma and mental health. Well, that's the reason for time to change about the stigma. Times for people's views on mental health to change.
I have the right to live on my nerves. I have the right to have what life deserves. I have the right.
It will follow up. That will keep our minds working with the area mind. It is so helpful to us. We call it area mind. It area up our minds.